beautiful people. Welcome to February 19th, 2025. Today is two, part two of Black leaders who embody emotional intelligence with EQ. Emotional intelligence is EQ, emotional intelligence is EI. So get to know what the lingo means so you can know, so you can be in the know. Today, we have a great conversation for you today, just like how we did last week. It's a Black History special. We're celebrating Black leaders who redefine what it means to lead with your heart and your mind. These trailblazers show us what it means to have emotional intelligence, not just as a skill, but it's a transformative way of living, of leading, of empowering others, of driving change. So let's dive in and get this conversation going. Why don't we?
Who don't know, what is emotional intelligence? Take us through a little bit about it.
Oh my goodness, it is the ability to be able to use, manage, understand your emotions in a healthy manner.
There I was, an upcoming HR professional. I was flying high, scoring. I was even deemed the best HR of the year.
Guys, I'm so happy to work again. We addressed some hard things.
So that was a little different, right? I'm trying some different things, you guys. So let's get this conversation. So I hope that you are well, whatever you're doing, whatever's going on in your life. I pray all is well. And like I always say, if it's not well right now, give it some time. Give it some time, give it a few days, give it a few hours, maybe a few months. And there's two things that are going to happen. Either you're going to change your mind about it, or things will simmer down, or the thing that you're thinking about or the issue that is happening, that will change, or they will change. So that is my advice for you today. All right. And don't look to be perfect. Don't look to be feeling this way all the time, because we're not. You're not. We're not, and that's okay, right? That's okay for it to be that way. Okay. So we're just gonna jump right in. We're going to talk about our very first. And remember, I said last week when I started covering the 15 individuals, this is in no way, shape, or form the entire list, right? I just had to choose, you guys. I had to choose. And it was hard, but I had to pick some people, and here we are. But I said last week that none of these individuals, I could not like number them one through this, because they're all goats. They're all amazing. So, last week we covered, who did we talk about last week? We talked about Chadwick Chadwick Boseman, right? Wakanda for life. We talked about him. We talked about Viola Davis. No, yes, Viola Davis, Lisa Nichols. We talked about Denzel Washington. And of course, we talked about President Barack Obama, right? So we covered some deep stuff about President Barack Obama and the quotes that he shared and what he embodies as it relates to emotional intelligence. And today we're going to cover our very first, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Of course, right? I couldn't have the list and not include our boy there. I just couldn't, right? So, of course, his quote is intelligence plus character. That is the goal of true education. I love this quote, and I'll share the reason why. But a scenario that comes to mind that I have here is during the Montgomery bus boycott, Dr. King faced a lot. You mean you would agree, I would agree that throughout his entire life and or career and or as he pushed towards civil rights and equality, he faced quite a bit of pressure, right? Including threats to his life, to his family, those that were around him. If fire was coming his way, his people around him was going to be, fire, get fire as well. And throughout it all, not reacting with anger, not fighting back with force. He used his self-regulation. I mean, like, think about that. Think about that. We get mad. I get mad when someone, I don't know, when my husband moved this cup from one table to the other, and I can get mad. But Dr. King kept his composure in higher stress situation, right? Regulating, calming himself down, and not allowing whatever is going on around him to dictate how he acted and how he showed up. Think about that for your own life, right? Uh, Empathy, being able to unite people, bring people together, reinforcing nonviolence. When things go wrong and when things are not necessarily right all around you, it's easy to kind of, if you're not self-aware and intentional, you can easily lean into violence, lean into unkind words, lean into incivility. You can easily, right, lean into stuff that if things are not going well in your own personal life, it's easy for you to snap at someone without even thinking about it, right? And he didn't do that, right? So reinforcing nonviolence, resistance to it, right? Maintaining his composure, all while being an inspirational leader. Think about that. All of the stress and all that he was trying to do, and how, they spit on him and they pushed him and they called him names and all of that did not he did not give them the satisfaction of showing up outside of character. Who does this remind you of? This person, we covered this person last week, President Barack Obama. The same thing, right? Based on the experiences and the scenarios that we gave, right? So I wanted to go a little bit into his quote, Dr. King's quote, and it says again, intelligence plus character. That is the goal of true education. So this reminds me that true education isn't only about acquiring facts or having the skills or having the intellectual prowess, right? To, you go to school, you get the education, you're an expert in this, or you know how to do this, you have this degree, you have this degree behind you, right? It's about integrating what you have learned, that knowledge, with moral and ethical values. So it's one thing to have the degree and go to school, but if you come out of school, if you come out and you have that certification, and the character, your personality, if your character and your character's last personality is one that you climbing on top of people to get to the top. You have no problem screwing people over. You have no problem lying and taking credit for something that's not yours. You have no problem, you're not bringing anybody along for the ride and helping them with their career. You're all about me, myself, and I. You are on top and you're looking down at everybody else and not sending the elevator back down. If that's your character with the degree or certification or whatever education that you have, that person goes on to build a business. They go on to start their own company. What kind of environment do you think those employees are going to have? Doom, 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 doom. Think about that. So the character of the person with that education, meshed with that education, is just that important. In today's world where information is abundant, this balance, right, is more critical more than ever, right? Because we got to make sure that we're not just getting the information. How is that information transforming the lives of the people around us for better, right? And then bringing in the heart and the mind. Intelligence gives us that intelligence that he's talking about. It gives us the tools, right, to understand, to innovate, to create. But without the character, again, you can get the education piece, you can go to school, you can get the skills, but if your character, your morals, your ethics, right, that knowledge can be misdirected in ways or even harmful, right? Because the character redefined but with empathy. If you have character now, that you have empathy for people, you have compassion, you have humanity, you're civil, you're kind, you are you have boundaries, you have integrity, right? You ensure that other people around you are also have are valued. Ensure that your decisions, this having these empathy, integrity, your morals and everything, those is what decisions and actions, that's how our decisions and actions are guided, right? That sense of responsibility to others, to our community, to the world, to our family, right? So for leaders, this quote serves as a powerful, very, in my book, right? Powerful reminder that effective leadership requires more than just technical skills or strategic thinking or logical thinking. It demands a deep, very deep commitment to fairness, to justice, to service, to humanity. So, leadership who embody both intelligence and strong character inspire trust, inspire people to want to work for them, inspire people to want to come in earlier, right? Come in earlier to work and make sure that they get ahead of the day, right? They inspire people to want to be better, right? Galvanizing positive change and just pushing towards it, right? When education nurtures this character, individuals are much better. You, me, we're all much better in our communities, right? Because it becomes not just skilled professionals, right? But also compassionate human beings, compassionate citizens. And that's you, that's me, that's us, right? That's what we want. So Dr. King, I celebrate him and I celebrate all that he has done for his unwavering, commitment, dogged attitude towards nonviolence, protests, and equality. His ability to remain calm, empathetic, composed in all of these different situations, during all the boycott, during all the name calling, everything. His legacy is a reminder to us that the fusion of intellectual prowess and deep seated morals, character, can really change the world. You can change the world. I can change the world. We can change the world. So let's just go out and do that, right? So number two today is, What's her name? What's the number two? What's number two here? Okay, here we go. Issa Rae. Do you guys know about Issa Rae? You guys know about Issa Rae? I hope you guys know about Issa Rae. So Issa Rae, her quote is, "I thrive on obstacles. If I'm told that it can't be done, then I push even harder." I put that even in there. I love this quote. Do you guys like this quote? I like this quote because did you guys know that uh, when Issa was pitching, and of course, I know her. I first knew her from Insecure. If you guys watched Insecure, that the that trailer, right? So Issa, when she first started to pitch her idea to all of the networks, they rejected her. Rejection after rejection after rejection. She was trying to pitch them Insecure, and the idea of a show, centering around a quirky black woman, nobody was buying it. Nobody was buying it. Yep. Nope, nope, nope. Instead of giving up, think about this, you guys. Remember when, we talk about on here all the time, uh, you know, the power of no, right? And just because one door closes does not mean all the doors have closed. Sometimes people say, well, if it's being working out to be this hard for me to get this, God must not want me to have it. Maybe God is trying to test you and see if you really want it. That's another way of looking at it. I don't know. Just saying. I don't know. I'm just putting ideas out there. If you get a no after no, after no, after no, after no, after no, right? Like what the scientist that created the light bulb, what is his name? Einstein or something? Yeah, Einstein. He said he learned 1,000 ways how not to make a light bulb. 1,000 ways. So he got 1,000 no's. Everybody looking at him like he was crazy. Like, what? A light, a round thing that we flicker a light and it comes on? No. Before that, they were in, they were with lamps. They were with lamps, and the little the lamps with the candles and stuff. That's what they were with. Until he was so determined on doing this light, that this idea that he didn't care what anybody else thought about it. And the same thing with Issa Rae. She did not care. She knew that this was her purpose, her passion. This is something that spoke to her, and whether those networks agreed with her or not, she was going to make it happen. So she found a way. So instead of giving up, she doubled down. Think about that in your own life. When you want something and you care about something so much, are you doubling down, seeing it through, finding a way, right? Not looking at that one black dot on the sheet of paper, but looking at all of the empty space on that sheet of paper and seeing the infinite possibilities. She doubled down. So she self funded her work. She self-funded. She's like, it's probably gonna take me longer, figure it out, but I'm gonna just figure out a way to kind of fund this myself. And built an audience on her own, demonstrating perseverance and confidence in her vision. Now tell me that quote, I thrive on obstacles. If I'm told that it can't be done, then I push harder. I push harder. That's what Issa did. She pushed harder. So she transformed her personal challenges and observations of underrepresentation in media into, pretty much groundbreaking career. And as the creator and star of Insecure, She turned obstacles into opportunities. Then at that point, people started like, oh, this seems to be picking up. Maybe we should go into business and kind of help and do and want to be a part of it now that she has gotten it to a certain point. Sometimes that's what it's going to take, baby boy, baby girl. You're going to have to go it alone for a little bit because remember, it's not their dream, it's yours. And that's why I love about this, because it pushes you to keep pushing for your goal, for your goals, for your dreams. She demonstrated resilience, and that's what emotional intelligence is all about: creating problem solving. She had resolve. She bounced back after each one of those rejections came in. Her journey, reflects strong emotional core. She had to be vulnerable with herself. She had to be authentic with herself. And in order to do that, that's what Insecure is all about. If you know the show, right? And humor and connecting with the audience. And so Issa's success, underscores and it brings out us embracing our struggles. Yeah, I said embracing. I said it right. I didn't misspoke. Embracing our struggles and using them as a catalyst for creativity. That's what I said last week. I said, whatever your story is, lean into it. That's your story. Nobody can take that away from you. That's your story. Whatever your story is. If it's, no, but people are going to laugh at me, or people are going to look down at me because that's your story. And if those people that are laughing or looking down at you, make sure you're not calling them friends. Make sure you're not calling them friends. Okay. Let's not do that. And so what? So what? Once you embrace and lean into your past, whatever that looks like, then people can't use it against you. Have you ever thought about that? They can't use it against you, right? So that paved the way for her to be innovative, and be an innovative leader, right? In the entertainment industry. So Issa, definitely, I had to put her on this list. And as you guys can see, why? Because in today's world, we have countless people around us telling us no. They're telling us no to the left, to the right, to the back, to the all around. They're telling us no. So when they tell us no, what are you going to do with that no? If it's for the greater good, if it's going to make not only your life, but the people around you, their lives better, and they're going to be better for it, what is it that, if it's something like that about, humanity, what impact you're going to be making, what is your obstacle that's in front of you? Or what are you using? What are you using? I'm in this training right now, and I told you guys this before with Florencia Andres, and she mentioned this book. Oh my goodness! See, I'm so terrible with I read all these books and I don't remember the name of the books. She mentioned this book, and I started reading this book. Kaufman something, 20 hours, 20 hours in a day or something. Anyways, you guys are gonna have to go look it up. Sorry. uh yeah, 20 hours. So and the book, she mentioned it, so I read it and was reading it, and then I was telling someone about it, and spoke about the books. Essentially speaks about how anything that you want to do, if it's something you've never done before, if it's something that's brand new, like a skill, learning something, how to build something, you want to start your own business, but you have no idea how to do a website, with all of the easy and done for you templates that are out here on the internet right now. Just giving that as an example, it's so much easier. So whatever it is, and this book mentions whatever that skill is that you want to do, if you spend 20 hours either over time or in one sitting, 20 hours, you can learn any skill. And let me rephrase that: 20 focused hours. That's some deep stuff. That's a whole on a whole deeper level, right? And I think in one of my podcasts I talked about, do you need more time? Do you need more resources? Do you need more people? Or do you need more focus? Yeah, we spoke about that. You're gonna have to go look for that. That's somewhere. um, and that's what this book essentially talks about. Is, you can learn any skill if you invest 20 hours in learning how to do it. You can do it. So whatever it is, as it relates to your goals, if it's something you've never done before, don't use that as an excuse, because that's what it is. It's an excuse, right? So Isa, she didn't use, she's like, I don't, she could have used, I don't know this industry. I don't know people. I don't have connections. Um, I don't have a huge following. I mean, I got something. She could have used all of that, but she didn't. She used it to get her where she wanted to go, and it blossomed into something beautiful. She did it. I do it. Countless others out here are doing it when they're showing up every single day in their positions because they love it. And then those that are, wanting to do something more as it relates to their own thing, they're doing it, right? So, what are you doing? So let's keep this show going. Let's keep this conversation going. Number 3, Colin Kaepernick. His quote says, believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything. Yeah, you getting too crazy now, Dr. Dale. I'm just, this is it right here. He took a knee during the national anthem to protest brutality, police brutality, knowing it could end his NFL career. He had a point to make. He stood for something. So his ability to stay composed despite all of the backlash, all of what people said, what the media said, he focused on his bigger vision, his mission, his purpose. And he showed immense self regulation and conviction. And self regulation is the second component of emotional intelligence, being able to control how you show up. And just because somebody around you or somebody said something to you that is probably outside of the left field, you are not going to let them bait you into showing up outside of your character. Again, I know it's not an easy thing. Easier said than done, but it's not impossible. It's not impossible. You don't have to get it perfect every single day, and you're not going to get it perfect every single day. But if you intentionally put a plan in place and check yourself, be self-aware, you can do it consistent enough. And we always say on this show, one inspiration breeds inspiration. So one action after another, you start getting a momentum, and then you start doing it a lot more often. And that's habits, right? So his decision to kneel during the national anthem was a bold, brave act, right? To protest against systematic injustice. A clear demonstration of deep emotional conviction. Again, self-awareness. He understood and knew who he was so much that he said, I gotta do this. I don't care what you say, what I say. That's what he felt he needed to do, and that's what he did. He didn't need to check in with anybody. By leveraging his platform, he used and he used his platform and challenged the societal norms and sparked a vital conversation about race, about equality, and all while showing emotional intelligence. Don't you just love that? And it goes hand in hand. He's showing that emotional intelligence goes hand in hand with activism. You got to stand for something. Otherwise, you fall for anything. Stand for something or you will fall for anything. Kaepernick's willingness to sacrifice his career for a higher purpose underscores the power of aligning your personal values. We talked about that. Values, character, with your public action. Who are you? How are you going to show and stand? Show your family, show those that are coming behind you, show your community. What is going to be your why? He showed you his why. His journey is a testament to the fact that true leadership requires both courage and empathy. You need to be courageous. So, going back to his quote, believe in something even if it costs you to sacrifice everything. I know it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot, but we're going to keep going. So, I'm going to leave you with that. And then the next person we're going to talk about is Serena Williams. Even up to recently, she was in the news, right? With the Super Bowl. Even up to recently. So if you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know. So Serena's quote says, I always believe I can beat the best. Let me say that again. I always believe I can beat the best, achieve the best. I always see myself in the top position. So for those out there that are doubting their capabilities, let this quote be a reminder to you. Start seeing yourself differently. In 2018, I believe, United States Open final, Serena faced controversy, right, with an umpire. You guys remember that? Leading to a very heated discussion, exchange. And she stood her ground. You know, she stood her ground in that moment, doesn't matter. But later, she reflected on the events, the situation, and what the exchange and what happened. And reflecting on it, on handling her emotions, she said, maybe I could have done it a little bit better. I could have been a little bit more composed, and kind of not allow whatever and whoever to dictate how I acted in that high pressure moment. And that shows us that there is self improvement in EQ. You can look back introspectively inside of you. You can look back retrospectively on what happened in the past in any given situation, with a friend, with a family member, with a coworker, with your boss, and you can actually think, reflect, and like, man, I remember that situation when da 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 da. I acted out of da 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 character, or they acted out of character, and I just blew up on them. I just blew up on them. If you can reflect and remember that, would you look back now, if you have a little bit of self-awareness, emotional intelligence, would you say that you could have done a little bit better? If you can look back and see that it wasn't only, if it's a two-person exchange, that it's not only that person, like 100% of it is their fault. 100%. You don't have, you're not going to take any responsibility. That's what EQ says. That's what emotional intelligence screams. It screams for you to take the mirror off the wall and look at yourself. Okay? This is what we talk about here, you guys. I know it's uncomfortable. Nobody wants to look like they're weak, because that's what we're perceiving, right? We don't want to look like we don't know what we're doing, and we don't want to look like we're all over the place. Vulnerability is what emotional intelligence is all about. So Serena Williams, she redefined how athletic excellence, with her fierce determination, her mental toughness, her physical toughness, exceptional emotional control. Even when she messed up, she's like, yeah, I could have done better. So next time I make sure I do better. Right? So she shows that it's okay for us to make the mistakes. The thing is that we got to know when we made the mistake and come back and either one apologize or in the next time you have the situation, do better. On the other hand, on and off the court, not only when she's on the court, but on and off the court, right? Serena's journey is not just about winning matches, but also about breaking barriers and inspiring the generation to pursue their dreams despite challenges, despite having negative things said about you in the news, right? Her resilience and commitment to coming back and showing up time after time, time after time, self belief. And it highlights the importance of aligning your own emotions with your ambitions, ultimately, ultimately turning your obstacles into stepping stones. I just love this. Don't you just love you some Serena Williams? Yes, yes, yes. Love, 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 love. So, our last, but definitely not least, we're going to cover today is the amazing Dr. Maya Angelou. Yes, Dr. Maya Angelou. And she said this famous quote that I'm sure all of us have heard at one point in time in our life. She said, people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never, ever forget how you made them feel. Yeah. So during an interview, um, Dr. Angelo shared how when she was a young woman, she was deeply, deeply impacted by a mentor's how this mentor encouraged her and inspired her. And then later in her life, she wanted to mirror that same emotional intelligence by mentoring folks like our amazing Oprah Winfrey and others, so many others. Always, always focusing on making others feel valued, seen, heard, respected. So, what mentor poured into you back in the day, years ago, that help redefine or help you to show up the way you're showing up today? And are you sending the elevator back down to pour into others? If you are, I applaud you and I thank you. And if you're not, I challenge you, whether it be somebody in your family or somebody outside of your family, pour back into the generation that's coming behind you, because they're going to be the ones creating the future that you are going to be a crippled old man or old lady in. And you want to make sure you want to make sure that they're that that is going to be a better world. You want to leave the world better than how you found it, whatever that looks like, right? For you, however it is that you can pour and help in that way. So Dr. Maya Angelou, I believe that her entire life, if you ask me, is a masterclass on emotional intelligence. A masterclass, truly. Despite facing personal trauma, hardship from a young age, she used her poetic voice to heal, inspire, to encourage, to motivate, to transform, and educate millions. Angelo's powerful words of were so authentic in storytelling. She left you, wanting more. Her ability to express profound empathy, understanding, tuning into to the people around her, being able to mentor them and model that character that they would need to show up as their best self as kids and now adults. Through her writing, her public appearance, she demonstrated true leadership, measuring not only by measured not only by what she accomplished, but how deeply she touched the people around her, right? Just look at her face. It just breathes. Aww. So I do have a video for you guys. I do have a video for you guys as it relates to Dr. Maya Angelou. And before I even share the video, I wanted to say I got these words that I'm about to read, and then we're gonna end the conversation there. So I got these words by a gentleman by the name of Chapman Bragg, and he said, as it relates to this video that I'm about to show you guys, he said, "I am human. It's a brilliant conceptualization of what we truly are as species. Regardless of who you are, what we are in life, we are all human beings. We all exist within the realm of existence, in that we are all inevitably and irrefutably connected. Humanity is a giant family to which we all are a part of. And if we, as a species, can ever, I'm going to add another ever truly accept the truth, that truth, we may just be able to find it in our hearts to treat each other as family." And with that, I am going to share this video from Dr. Maya Angelou that will warm your heart like it warmed mine. Come on, let's see here. Here we go. Okay, here we go. I hope you enjoy this as much as I do. I did. It's only about 2 minutes or so. It's going to leave you thinking for the rest of the day. I guarantee it.
If I think of my life as a class and what I've really learned, I've learned a few things. First, I'm aware that I'm a child of God. It's such an amazing understanding to think that the it, which made fleas and mountains and rivers and stars, made me. What I pray for is humility, to know that there's something greater than I. Then I have to know that the brute, the bigot, and the batterer are all children of God, whether they know it or not. And I'm supposed to treat them accordingly. And it's hard, and I blow it all the time. Mongrel class of people. I'd like everybody to think of a statement by Terence. The statement is, "I am a human being. Nothing human can be alien to me." If you can internalize the least portion of that, you will never be able to say of an act, a criminal act, "Oh, I couldn't do that." No matter how heinous the crime, if a human being did it, you have to say, "I have in me all the components that are in her or in him. I intend to use my energies constructively as opposed to destructively." If you can do that about the negative, just think what you can do about the positive. If a human being dreams a great dream, dares to love somebody, if a human being dares to be Martin King or Mahatma Gandhi or Mother Teresa or Malcolm X, if a human being dares to be bigger than the condition into which she or he was born, it means so can you. And so you can try to stretch yourself. So you can internalize homo sum humani nihila me alienum puto. I am a human being. Nothing human can be alien to me. That's one thing I'm learning.
I don't know, you guys. That's how I'm going to leave this conversation. I hope that helped you as much as it has helped me. And I'll see you guys next week for our last part 3 of Black leaders that embody emotional intelligence. Thank you guys for being here today. I will talk to you guys, see you guys next week. We're going to do this all over again next week. Yes, we are. So, later.
Thank you for being here and supporting this channel. If you enjoyed this episode and this content, it would mean a lot to me if you would take a few seconds to ensure you are subscribed to A Glimpse of Growth with Dr. Dale. Click the notification bell to receive notification. Share it with someone you think may need it. And let's continue to become more intelligent with our emotions. Thank you. See you later.